Today in the studio, folks, as always, I got a real treat for you. Los Silva's in the house.
What's up, man?
What's cracking?
How are you?
Folks, if you don't know who he is, CEO of SVG Media, basically helps influencers and athletes build and scale their brands or establish some revenue models off of brands.
Yes.
So if there's someone out there with the brand and you're not really fully monetizing it or realizing all the revenue potential from it, Los helps those people identify and capture those dollars.
That's right.
And create engagement with the audience.
That's right.
Now, I met you a while back at a conference. I also heard you speak, so you're also a speaker.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you should be, because like other than me, you were the best one up there.
I appreciate it. No,
and I think the reason why is because you were like honest and real.
I just kept it real, man. I think that's why we get along.
People are craving that nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just real. Like, I don't do it because I think that's what they want. I do it because I am. And people hit me up all the time. Like, dude, you're so real.
I don't think you can do it like as a shtick. Cause then, by default, you wouldn't be real. You'd get caught slipping. You know what I mean? You got to be real.
You will.
Cause you got to be yourself. If not, shit.
So at that event, dude, you were talking about marketing. And because marketing, in my opinion, I used to say sales was the most important thing. But number one, I trained it, and that was my business. But at the end of the day, now I say marketing's more important.
I think it's a trifecta, man. It's marketing, it's branding nowadays. Branding matters more than ever.
Is marketing and branding different to you?
The way I look at it, yeah. I mean, I come from a direct response background, meaning I put money in the account, I get more money out, right? And for a long time, I never really thought that branding mattered because you can just spend, you can just buy media and get a result. But more and more people are searching for you through all social media, Facebook, Insta, TikTok. That's the business card, right? No one's looking at your website for the most part unless they're coming through a podcast or something else like that. Everything's a funnel, everything is social, and branding matters. If I don't see you, if I see a funnel or something that you're spending money on and I want to see if you're real or not, and your social sucks and you're not saying who you are over there, then now that matters more than it's ever mattered in the world for e-commerce companies, for personal brands, for athletes, celebrities, for anybody, right? And so branding, I think, is a big part of things that matter nowadays. It also, the brand builds community and connection with people just as much as the person. So branding, social, kind of go inclined with paid ads, which is marketing. And then obviously you got to have the sales.
Well, marketing goes beyond just paid ads.
Yeah, I mean,
like
marketing.
A podcast is marketing.
Marketing is content. It's the stories. It's the branding. It's the ads. It's all the social. It's the media properties that people are building nowadays. I mean, you've got one. I'm doing a show tomorrow with my buddy Ryan Pineda. He's doing the same thing.
He's doing a good job.
Yeah, we're investing more and more. I've been talking a lot with him into building more of a media property kind of a situation, doing more shows, like multiple different types of shows, and just creating content because, not everyone wants to hear you talk about the same thing. So we're making shows about different things that I enjoy, that I want to talk about, whether it's parenting, whether it's family, whether it's business, whatever. Because when they know, like, trust you, they'll buy from you because obviously they know, like, and trust you. That's why everybody thinks you're real, because you're not bullshit. And you make good content that resonates with people that want to be like you or connect with you in some sort of way. And that's the best kind of content to make.
Now, how'd you learn all this?
I learned all this really by trial and error. I've been doing this for like 15 years now.
You had to start somewhere though.
It started in e-commerce. I started doing stuff on eBay. I never had a job. And so when I was in college, I started flipping video projectors and Crown Victorias on eBay because they had the biggest spread on the kind of like the arbitrage. And then after that, I started kind of researching what else I could do and started seeing that I could do video projectors and I could do electronics. So I became a Bose retail distributor online. And I had to keep things at a certain MSRP, but I would drop them a little bit. And so I became one of the fastest growing Bose distributors because they didn't know that I was flipping it on eBay. After that, the economy hit. I I grew that to almost $1 million. I was like 20, 21 years old, and grew that it was almost my first $1 million business. But then 2008 hit, the economy hit. It was in my first recession. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that shit existed, right? I was a kid still. I was going out, spending most of my money going to bars and being an idiot. And so I started doing something different, turned that into a home automation company, just doing research and arbitrage, kind of like the dealers, did deals with Disney, House of Blues, etc. And then I turned that into, I kind of hated doing that, so I kind of gave that to my dad. And then I went back and I started doing stuff online. So I was like, man, I like the online stuff. I don't got to like do all this local stuff and be pulling out bids and stuff. And so I bought some courses, just random courses from people. I learned to buy media.
Any good ones?
The first course that I bought was a course by now my friend. It's called Let's Get Social from Kate Buck. And I said one day, I told my wife, I was like, man, I'm going to meet these guys and I'm going to even partner with them one day. And Ryan Deiss had published them. Coincidentally, like a year later, Ryan Deiss bought one of my courses and I had his email. So I sent him an email. I was like, hey, you should publish me, because I knew that that's what he was doing. And he was like, sure. And so then he ended up publishing me. This guy, Jonathan Cronstedt, who coincidentally became the CEO of Kajabi later on, was the first person to kind of like bring me in, get me through all that stuff. That got me into masterminds and speaking and War Room and kind of getting to know the rest of the world. And then from then on, I just kind of kept the ball rolling, started doing a lot of more stuff in e-commerce, started doing a lot of stuff for personal brands, built a very successful agency. And then one day an athlete kind of influencer came to me and was like, hey, listen, man, we charge a lot. And so the influencer was like, listen, I don't have that much, but what if you owned half of it? And I was like, well, half of nothing's nothing, man. And you don't got nothing right now, but let me try it. Let me see what we can do. And over the span of 2 years, that business went from 0 to 5. The third year it did 11 million. And I was like, man, that's a different business model. Maybe I can just go work with these influencers and athletes and celebrities and be like, listen, I'll just do it all. My team will do all of it. We'll do the funnels, the ads, the media. We'll build out the ascension. We'll do everything that we need to do. And it worked out really well, right? Ended up building and selling a couple of companies in the supplement space from it, working with influencers and stuff. As the only problem with that business model is once you start sending an influencer $100,000, $150,000 a month as their check, they go to Hawaii and they start chilling, and they are the content. They are a big part of the whole thing, which made me kind of go back. And we still do that with like select individuals where we take a percentage, but mostly we still do it on either a profit share or, you pay and a profit share.
You didn't set up any kind of ongoing lead gen?
Oh yeah, we had everything. I mean, it depends.
So if I went to the Bahamas and stayed there for a month, because like right now I have things that I put out there that I haven't talked about in 6 months and it's still producing because it's like evergreen.
Right. Yeah, but there's more content opportunity now than there was before on scale. And the thing is, you need to refresh your ads. So we had stuff, but we had a lot of different funnels going. We're like, hey, I need this ad. I need you to shoot this. I need you to say that. All we needed was the person on the telephone. But then they're like, oh man, I can't, or I don't look good, or I'm doing that. They're not cooperating because they're receiving enough revenue. They're like, why don't you do it? I'm like, well, because my name's not yours. They're buying your thing.
Yeah.
And so we learned our lesson from there. And so we have a lot more stricter guidelines too when we do a partner project.
Now, where do you live?
I live in Orlando.
Full time?
Yeah, full time. I mean, I go to San Diego a lot, and I go to Arizona because my two business partners are there.
Now, E-comm, powerhouse.com is your website?
Yeah, that's our e-comm division. So my partner Josh Snow and I have the largest.
Josh Snow, the teeth dude?
Yeah. So Josh and I have the largest e-comm mastermind there is. Basically, we help people build, scale, and ultimately sell their company. We recently bought a brokerage last year. So we try to help people optimize their business, get it ready, and then get it ready for sale. And then we just launched Powerhouse Creators also, which helps personal brands, coaches, consultants, and service providers build a scalable and potentially sellable outside of them business online as well. So that now we got the e-comm side, we got the creator side, because I think the creator side's even bigger for the industries that we work in to be able to scale that. It's funny because they're two different businesses. One's a checking account, one's a savings account, I say, right? Like you can make a ton of money consistently as a personal brand, coach, service provider, and you can create a lot of revenue in e-commerce, but your check is kind of like a savings account because you got to sell that business because cash flow is just so different with an e-commerce company.
I have a lot of customers here that fit that model.
Which one?
The one you just mentioned, the coaches and mentors. I mean, that's what Lightspeed's comprised of.
Yeah.
We have companies like UFC and, General Motors and, that just use it to train people. So they don't sell anything. But most of our business is subject matter experts that sell courses and training, real courses and real training.
Yeah, with interactivity.
Yeah, but all of those could benefit from what you're talking about.
All of them, and I bet you that most of them have one, maybe two sources of traffic, and they don't have anything highly optimized. They're probably running referrals, affiliates, or strong Facebook. And obviously there's a lot that might do more, but that's typically what we see. And they have little ascension. They're making 5 million, 6 million through that one thing. They don't have anything to ascend people up or anything to move people past that as well.
Yeah. And most of them that I notice, they're one-man bands. They don't have good teams because they come to me and they're like, do you have anyone that can build our funnels? Do you have anyone that can build our scripts? Do you have anyone that can build our everything? Yeah. I'm like, well, what do you do? They're like, well, I just know my shit.
They just know their thing.
That's it.
And they don't want to do more. So there's a lot of people, there's entrepreneurs, and I'm not saying they're not entrepreneurs, but a lot of times an entrepreneur is the guy's like, I got this. I'm going to build a team. We're going to do this, build something big. Then you've got your person that made $3 million accidentally learning how to teach people how to cook Jamaican
nurse
food,
training,
right? Or nurse training or whatever it is, right? And they're 2-3 people and they're making a lot of money, but there's a lot of fear inside of that too. Like, I don't want to part with my money to hire somebody to grow. What if it doesn't work? There's a lot of what ifs, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, listen, what if you keep doing the same thing and it just stops? Because I've had that. We had a business that was doing $11 million a year. Facebook just went and changed everything. The algorithm was just very difficult for us to continue to do that, so we had to pivot. But they don't know, they don't have other assets into pivoting into, right? And so I always tell people, listen, you've got to build a relationship with somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, where you can grow your ads, have multiple ways to acquire leads, have a logical ascension offer that moves people up. Once you sell somebody for $10,000, somebody else is selling them for 20, 30, 40. There's other opportunities for you. There's other potential joint ventures, and they don't think through that. They just think about their one thing, which is what got them there, which is great. But they have to start thinking a little bit more about the future and how to build this into a more stable, consistent asset.
Who do you think's done the best at this so far, out of all the gurus in the space?
Honestly, I would probably say Ryan Dice. He turned being a guru into a company that can now sell for a significant amount of revenue. And he built an event from being a guru into an event company that he did sell, right? No one even looks at him anymore in those regards because he's kind of old school, I guess. Like, he's on our time. But he's the one that pivoted the best into turning education information into education for entrepreneurs, small businesses, etc. I think he's done a really good job.
Isn't he with traffic and conversion? Didn't he start that with
him, Roland Perry started traffic and conversions.
Oh, Perry Belcher.
Yep.
What do you think of that dude?
I like Perry. He lives over here.
Is he a great copywriter?
He's a great copywriter.
Like, what's his talent?
He wrote my first sales page. It was called the Whale Method. The one that they published for me. Perry wrote it. And I think it did like $2.5 million right after he wrote it. He's a genius.
Yeah, I've had him here a couple of times. We always just shoot the shit and bullshit. We never get down to any business, though. Yeah, I think he's too rich now.
He's a good Southern dude that loves to talk.
I had him speak at Real Success. Matter of fact, yeah.
Yeah, he lives right up here.
Yeah, I just brought in people that were real, that really did something and know their shit. Because if you listen to a lot of people, they're really just teaching you how to get rich by selling people courses on how to get rich, and they're not really rich.
Yeah, and it's kind of a cesspool because a lot of those people get hired by people that want to teach people how to get rich, to teach you how to get, it's basically an MLM. It's like a weird version of an MLM, you know?
Yeah, but there's people like Perry that have kicked ass.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a ton of them. And I think, you know, the biggest thing that I always say when people are like, oh, well, you know, who should I listen to? I would always listen to people that have employees, that have an office, not just to have a Lambo. Like you can get a Lambo, you can lease a Lambo, whatever. You can't lease employees, you know, you can't lease a big ass office, but there's more skin in that, right? People that are selling a service or a product or something that's really supporting, not just if someone's things like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to teach people to make a lot of money. That's not, that alone sounds terrible, right? And I think sometimes people can't gauge it, but
I always say, listen, if you call their office and nobody answers, be leery.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you can call here Monday through Friday. Someone's going to answer, whether I'm sick, whether I'm on vacation. Like there's people that work here
right
every day where you can find us. Let's just put it that way. Mm-hmm. Even with some of the apps that, you know, are real businesses, it's hard to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Like I tried to get a hold of Instagram once. Very difficult. TikTok, very difficult. Like, where's their building? Is there one?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to go down there? I doubt it.
Yeah, they ignore you. I mean, we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars with Facebook, and
isn't that crazy?
They don't
dude?
care about you.
Oh, Zuck don't give a cluck.
He don't give
dude,
a shit.
You don't like it? Get off my platform,
or he'll kick you out.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm one of those fair guys that said, hey, it's fucking his, dude. You know, if it was mine, dude, blow me. You know, do what I tell you to do.
Yeah, it's
or
true.
Get off of it.
Yeah, I got booted from the book.
But eventually, dude, eventually something's going to come out and replace it. The funny thing is just Zuck goes and buys it.
Well, he can't anymore.
Why?
There's laws now that he pretty much can't go out and buy something that big because it'll turn into a monopoly. They're even thinking about splitting. I don't think it'll happen, but they've had conversations about splitting Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram because it's too big. It has a hold on the market.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will. I think TikTok's going to give it a run for its money. TikTok is putting a lot of time into creators. They're also putting a lot of time into the people that actually invest with them, not just as creators, but as media buyers.
Well, they're a little bit dumb though.
What?
TikTok.
The audience hasn't caught up to what
I got
what
canceled.
Facebook is.
I got my first 3 accounts terminated for nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would say you violated our community guidelines. I didn't say anything except get up in the morning and, you know, focus. You know, it was just like, what? How would this violate anything? And first one I had like 500,000 followers. Took me 4 or 5 months to build it up, and then all of a sudden they just deleted the son of a bitch. And I'm like, what are you doing? I never could get it back. And then I had a million people call me so they could get it back, wink wink, for $10,000,
right?
Which I never tried. But so then I just said screw it, started another one, got that one up to about 400,000. They deleted it. I'm like, these guys are stupid. Like, I'm not posting anything against their guidelines.
That happened with me with Instagram a few times. I got it deleted, had to restart. It's a pain in the ass, man. I've seen a lot of people go with $1 million+ accounts that they lose it.
Isn't that crazy? Because let me tell you something. That number one, like if they're like mine, my shit's real. Okay. Everything.
No, the level of working hard to get that back is.
But I mean,
real.
I don't buy followers. I don't do promotions and sweepstakes to get you to follow me. Like, if you follow me, you fucking chose to do so.
Yeah.
And I got 1 million on TikTok and about 650 on Instagram, maybe 600, let's say. Mm-hmm. And if I lost those, like, fuck, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time and effort on those.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I put out 4 videos a day times 6 channels.
Still?
For years.
Damn.
And, you know, I don't do it myself. I have camera guys and editors and teams of people. So, like, think about it. That's $30,000 a month for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then they just come around. You're done. It's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, man.
But that shows you the power of it.
Yeah.
So you became a master of it, showing people how to leverage it, drive traffic, and extrapolate both loyalty and revenue from their audience and their fans and their followers.
Right.
Who's the biggest name you've done it for?
I've worked with people like Steve Weatherford, Prince EA, Mike Chandler. Who else is famous?
All of which follow me.
They're all friends of mine also.
I don't know Princier, but I heard he was a big deal.
Yeah, he's
someone
got
on my
20
team called me and said, Princier's following you. And
He's
I
got
said,
20 million
"Who's that?"
followers on YouTube.
I know. It's like, I said, who's that? And they said, oh, dude, he's fucking popular. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've consulted with a lot of people in the fitness space. Bradley Martin, Calvin Von Moger, Heidi Powell, Steve Cook, anyone in the fitness space. I've worked with them for the most part.
Do you teach them to build supplements?
I either consulted or helped build a supplement line. Yeah.
What's your number one thing that you like to do though? Like if I said, man, you can promote anything you want to the Bomb Squad, what would it be?
Events in our mastermind, because it's in person, because it's connected, it's deeper, right? Like with everything else, it's a service, it's a process, it's everything else. But in our masterminds, we got about 150 people now. We're doing an event in August in Orlando. It's kind of a preview to the mastermind. I like those because you get to really connect deeper with people. You get to help them hands-on. We always bring our team, so our team gives them a hand too. And so there's a lot of great relationships that have been cultivated. There's a lot of business opportunity that happens inside of that. And it's something that you can't replicate, right? Like you can replicate a funnel, you can replicate an email sequence, but like you can't replicate relationships. Like my relationship with you is different than his, different than theirs. It's always something different, and it's impactful. Like you leave fulfilled when you like give all you can. And I love speaking. Like you know, when I spoke, like you could tell, like I fucking love that thing. You know, like I love to talk. I love to like give value to the audience and connect with people. And when they come to you and they're like, man, like I was doing this and then I connected with you and like now I'm doing this. Like we had a guy that we let in. He was doing $12,000 a month. And he's been working with us for about a year. He's doing $100,000 a month now. And he just got a little baby girl and he's married to his wife and they're going on their first big vacation as a family. That like touches your heart. You know what I mean?
Do you know Kevin Nations?
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin's funny too. Do you know Kevin? Dude, Kevin's funny. First time I met him, he was doing a mastermind at his house, showing people how to make more. Mm-hmm. And essentially he would just say, raise your price.
Yeah.
Had a slick way of saying, raise your price. And people would be like, I paid whatever, 15 grand and you're telling me to raise my price. And guess what? It fucking worked.
It worked.
Yeah. Like people have to raise their self-worth before they raise their net worth. And he got you convinced that you're worth more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've talked to, like, Garrett White came from Kevin.
Really?
Yeah. When Kevin was doing big money from small events, I think that's what it was called. Him and a few other big people now came from there. They just started doing more and more and raising prices. And I think I think people should raise their prices because when you pay attention. That cheap stuff, that free stuff, like there's no value in free, you know, because it's just, you're kind of reading whatever it could be. Like even when people talk to me and they're like, hey, can I ask your advice? I'm like, you can ask for my advice. But my buddy one day told me, but I'd rather, you know, if you really want advice, I can give you my professional opinion, but that's not free. You know, when people pay, they pay attention. Yeah. And you pay attention by knowing, like I've spent $100,000 on stuff before and I'm in it. Like I want to get my money back and more. You know what I mean? I want to get something out of it. You don't just give the money away to give it. If not, that's a silly, flawed way of doing it.
Yeah. I gave someone $100 grand one time and I haven't gotten what I paid for yet. Yeah. I'm hoping, you know, the dude's legit and there's a credit, but he seems real legit. He seems like a smart son of a bitch too. You know, Chris Crone?
I do.
Yeah, I hope he's a goodie. He is a smart dude. I flew up and saw him. I paid him, but then it's not him not executing. I said, hold on, let me get my shit in order. And I'm sure he's wondering, this fucker just gave me 100 G's and then said, hold on. And literally,
it happens.
It's in the bank. Like in other words, in my mind, when I start doing what we were talking about earlier, when we get into this, I would call him and say, okay, let's deploy whatever that was for now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully he's alive and kicking because it seems like he's doing well. He's in real estate too, yeah?
Yeah. We met him at Avengers.
Yeah, he's all about the data.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy, all about the data. Like, it seems like data is most important. What do you think about like just data?
Yeah, it's the only way you can run an online business. I mean, we run a lot of brands and it's all, you know, CPMs, average order value, cost per acquisition, even, creating all this content now organically, like how many impressions am I getting? What are the impressions equal to the amount of clicks that I could have got if I would have paid for them, right? And how does that equal to the amount of money that I'm allocating to create all this content, right? So if you're just going blind and being like, oh, we're just running traffic and making a little and getting a lot more, like you can be a lot more quantifiable with that. I mean, inside of a lot of people's businesses, we can even go negative 10, 20, 50 days because we know, hey, 51 days later, the recurring kicks in and it's positive, and that allows you to go out and spend more than your opposition, right? Than your counterparts. And so I think not looking at the data is very silly. Attribution can be a little bit difficult because everything is blended nowadays. It's hard to get a direct return on investment from something because everyone's clicking and going everywhere. But that's why it's more important to see like, hey, what is our social creating? How much revenue are we creating in each channel? Can we attribute a little bit from there? How many people are going from our ads and getting retargeted back into, our YouTube and getting sales from there? There's a tool called Hyros that my buddy Alex Becker made that gives you good insights. There's a few other ones, but that's the one that we use the most. And I think everyone that's running at least 50,000, probably 20 to 50,000 minimum online on ads should be using a tool like that.
Hyros?
Hyros, Hyros.
So if I'm a business listening to this, or a business person that owns a business listening to this, what would you recommend that I would do to start generating more traffic? Because earlier when I said marketing and sales, which one's the most important? The reason why I changed my mind from sales to marketing is because if I had a kick-ass salesperson and an average salesperson, and the kick-ass salesperson saw 5 people in a day and the average person saw 50 people in a day, I'll bet you the average will kick the great one's ass every time.
Yeah.
Simply because numbers. 50 to 10 to 1 ratio. So how did he get to talk to 50 people? That's marketing.
So
marketing's more important, period.
Agreed.
And if every business listening knows, hey, Los is a marketing expert, what would you have them do to start generating more traffic online?
It depends on people's budgets, right? But I'll give you 2 things. One, I would definitely build a sales funnel and start running traffic at the beginning, more specifically to a application-based funnel, so I could get my guy 50 phone calls, right? That's the first thing. Second, I would start doubling to tripling down my content on social. Now you're going to have...
So build it organically, you mean?
I would definitely do it. Now you're going to think like, man, there's so many social channels. Grab 1 or 2 and just focus on it. YouTube is difficult. It takes production. It takes team. It takes a long time. It's like building wealth. You can't just grow into it, right? But TikTok and Reels are basically the same thing. I would start with that and post, instead of posting once a day, 2 to 3 times a day. And I'd start looking at my insights on both to see what video hit the best, and then make another video on the same thing, and then continue to use that, put retargeting pixels inside of it, and then run traffic on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok, depending where that audience is.
And try to blow that up.
Right. But I would do both, and like I said, depending on budget, if you got to just hustle with one, if you don't have money, you got time. So you can work more and create more content.
What
right?
if you have no money and no time?
You need to get a job.
Well, there's people out there with a job that ain't making shit.
Well,
See, y'all get jaded in this world, folks, don't we?
If you got no money and you got no time, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, then you need to reassess you need to reevaluate what you're up to.
Well, sure, but there's people out there that are like, let's say they make $80,000 a year, which is no money, and they're working,
and it's 45-hour a week job.
They're working 45 to 50 hours to get that 80, and their bills are 81. That is what I'm talking about. Like, they've got a job.
Then you need to go work. You need to go live like you make 42. And
that's one option.
Work 60 hours and put in that other 20 into something that you want to do.
Tell that to your kids and your wife.
I mean, we can sit here and find excuses for everything, right?
Yes, we can.
But the truth is, like, if that's the question, like, we got to work, we got to do more.
Have you ever listened to people? This is the shit.
And I tell them, hey man, get a job.
Everything's a problem.
Yeah, and that's I always say, listen,
hey, why don't you go sell something? Yeah, I'm not.
But I don't know, man. I'm
sales.
not good at this. I'm not good at that. Well, bro, don't ask me for anything anymore. Go get yourself a job, or if not, become a barista. That's it. That's the truth. That's what they don't want to hear, but that's where they're going to end up if they don't make changes.
Well, I think if you go learn marketing, folks, and you're busting your ass, not making any money, you don't have any money, I would say take money, borrow it from your grandma, and learn how to market. Learn what the fuck you're talking about. Because if everybody knew what you were talking about, you can't be broke knowing what you know. Yes or no?
Yeah, because you can write your own checks.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So like everybody needs to just go learn and understand marketing. Even start small. Like get real good at placing ads on Facebook. Like that's a media buyer. That's a skill in and of itself. Like when you say you just put pixels in there. Put pixels in where? What the fuck are pixels? There's people literally going, what is a pixel?
When I first started, I borrowed $97 to buy that first course. That's not even a joke, because I had lost my business because of the economy, and I borrowed $97 from my dad. And I was like, "Listen, I swear to you."
Did you have the sleeves by then?
I did not have the sleeves by then. I was a lot weaker.
Well, how much the sleeves cost you?
Each one's probably about $4 or $5.
So you was making money before you got the sleeves.
Oh yeah, I had to make money before. These things aren't cheap.
No, they're not, and they take time.
They take a lot of time. If anything, that's the worst part about it.
So now, what's your perfect day look like?
Oh man, my perfect day is I wake up, I go to the gym, come back, I have a cold plunge in my house, so I do a sauna cold plunge, and then I take my daughter to school.
Why the cold plunge? You think that works?
I love it, dude. I love the feeling of the frozen water. Like it wakes your ass up.
Do you do the Wim Hof?
I do. I'm that guy.
There's some legit shit to that from what I hear.
I started doing it. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what it's doing for me. I can just hold my breath more, but it does help me when I jump in the water. Because if I just jump in the water, you're going to go, like you're going to freak out. But if you do the breathing, you can just walk in it. You're like, you can sit in it for like a couple minutes. So I do that. I take my kid to school. I go to the office. I shoot content. I have a few meetings, and I leave earlier than I used to. I leave probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock on my perfect day. I go meet up with my family, get a good dinner. Either we go out to dinner once a week or something, or I'll make steaks or something at home, and I'm chilling with my kids. And that's my perfect day.
Well, let me ask you a question. If the bomb squad was listening, or which they are, if the bomb squad was sitting in front of you and they asked a question, fastest way to learn marketing, what would you tell them? Buy a course?
I would buy a course.
Would you recommend that they learn marketing?
I would recommend that everybody should learn some sort of high level skill online. There's a lot of, so by marketing, we're talking about copywriting, media buying, social media, editing, content creation, right? So who are you? Like, what do you think your skills are? What are you good at? If you're like, man, I'm analytical, you should learn media buying. If you love to write, you should really double down on copywriting. If you already kind of like messing around with like videos and editing stuff on TikTok, learn to edit and create that kind of content, right? But don't jump into all of it, because it'll be very, very overwhelming. Dial one in, at least maybe one a year, if not at least once a quarter, because I know we all have crazy brains, like everything lasts 7 seconds. So at least once a quarter, try to focus on just one of those skills, and then add another one, and then add another one. In a year, you'll be better than anybody locally. Worst case scenario in the world, you can have a local marketing agency and make a couple $100,000.
Hey, even if you're average, you're better than half the people.
That's right.
Hey, so, and then your mastermind, I said, what are you most excited about? You said the mastermind. What are you teaching there?
So we have two things that we teach. One is e-commerce. So we teach e-commerce brands that are doing 50 to 100 minimum thousand to scale, so we can help them sell it, because we have a brokerage. And then we teach content creators, service people, consultants, etc., how to go from 20,000 to 100,000+ a month. So we have two kind of sectors inside of the group, and we switch it out. And so we have content on one and content on the other.
And where do they go for that?
You can go to losilva.com and you can click in there, and it'll give you all the information.
LOSSILVA. And by the way, on Instagram, he is at Los Hustle.
Yeah, DM me and I'll say what's up.
Hit them in the DMs, folks. Yeah, so if you guys are subject matter experts, you're a coach, you want to learn how to scale that business, you want to have it done for you model, go check him out. If you're just a broke joke like everybody else and you're looking to make money and become somebody, go learn marketing, kids. I'm telling you. And until next time, keep that shit real. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, brother.
Dropping bombs with the real Bradley. Subscribe now.